Oh, God, what? Why? No! Hey friends, I thought that was the end of the song, and I forgot to flip this set of lights on. Welcome to Monday Nights with your gangly friend, CiottiFPV. We are going to breathe some life back into the Acrobee V4 tonight because it's just absolutely ridiculous that this thing is sitting here not put together. And so we are going to compare it to the Hummingbird. I didn't really think to do this. This is viewer requested. Couple of people wanted to see a Hummingbird versus Acrobee comparison. And so let's do it. What the hell? I am going to set this up to be almost as close as I can to the Hummingbird V3. I'm going to chop down the BT 2.0, shorten it up a little bit to save a little bit of weight, and we are going to put it in the Cockroach V3 frame, which is going to save a little bit of weight. We are going to put Newbie Drone Flow 702 29,000 kV motors on it to save a little bit of weight. And yeah, it's going to look just like the Hummingbird, but it's going to be a little bit heavier because it's a full-size AIO. And yeah, we'll see. I don't think there's going to be much. I don't think I'm going to be able to tell a difference. But it's interesting. There are some advantages of the Acrobee V4. So yeah, I'm interested to see if I can tell the difference, if there really is sort of a difference. Is the OSD going to be any different? Is the am I going to be able to push the tune farther? You know, they'll be on the same motors, in the same frame. I wonder if they have the same gyro. I will hook them both up to Betaflight and type status into the CLI, and that will tell us what gyro is on each of them. And then we can kind of take a look at the tunes back and forth. Yeah, could be kind of interesting, to be honest. The BLV4 has a much more powerful VTX on it, so we can send one all the way upstairs, up by where the kids' rooms are, and see if the image quality to the little VRX down here is any better. We'll see. What else? What else do you guys want me to like talk about as per the differences between the Acrobee and the Hummingbird? For me, if I were doing a newbie drone build, I would do it in the Hummingbird V3, with the Hummingbird V3 AIO, just because it's lighter. And with 65 millimeter rigs, personally, I'm only really going to fly them inside. So the extra VTX power of the Acrobee doesn't really do it for me. But I'm curious as to, what anybody else, why you guys would get the Acrobee over the Hummingbird. There are reasons. I want to hear those reasons. So yeah, drop that into the chat. This is my full-time job. If you'd like to support me on this wild and woolly adventure that is FPV as a full-time thing, head on over to CiottiFPV.com, and there's a million different ways that you can support me. Patreon certainly helps me out the most. It's the closest thing that I've got to a paycheck. Don't mind me, I'm just replugging these motors in because the motor wires were not twisted together quite right. It didn't quite look clean enough. There's an Etsy store where you can buy some fun stuff. There is a Fiverr page where you can work together with me one-on-one. I can help you fly better, build better, tune better. Bunch of different really cool stuff going on over there. Just start clicking buttons and your life will get immeasurably better. Or not. It might. It might. We talk about more than just FPV on here. We talk about life. We talk about what it is to be a man in 2023. So yeah, come hang out. Stay a while and listen. Or not. Do whatever you want. Make sure that you do you, though. I'm told that's important. You must do you. I'm exhausted. I did not get much sleep last night, so it's gonna be a little struggly today. But we're gonna do this together, and it's gonna be great, and nobody's gonna die. Here's the question: do I put the Acrobee into I gotta put it into the V3 Cockroach frame. I was gonna say, do I put it into the really cool purple Cockroach V1/V2 frame? Or do I put it into the V3 frame? I have to put it into the V3 frame. Let's weigh the V3 frame versus the old school frame. The old school frame does have a couple little foam bits. But foam is pretty lightweight, so I can't really imagine that it would have any significant effect on the weight. The adhesive on the bottom of these little fetuses is probably heavier than the foam on them. 3.6 grams for the OG Cockroach frame, 3.6, 3.7. Wow, that's a big difference. 2.8. 2.8 for the V3. So yeah, we're definitely putting it in the V3 frame. I also want to, I don't know. I kind of want to save the V3 frame and put a Ultimate Freestyle Tiny Whoop into it. You know what I mean? And I mean, this is just so purple. And like the Hummingbird is the lightweight AIO. What is it? What do you guys? Those of you that wanted to see the Acrobee get compared to the Hummingbird and the Acrobee come back to life, what are you looking for? What do you think the Acrobee might be better at? It's hard, right? Because if I put it in this frame, it's going to be significantly heavier, but this is a stiffer, this frame is significantly stiffer. So I'm going to be able to add more PID gain and remove more filtering. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Hey, by the way, I have a couple of sets of the Newbie Drone Hummingbird 0802 25,000 kV motors that I don't really know what to do with. So if you want a set of these motors, hit me up and we'll work something out. I'm 0802 25,000 kV is great for a 75 millimeter rig, but they've got the 1 millimeter motor shaft. So for me to build a 75 rig with these, I'm just gonna bend these motor shafts. If you've got a 75 that you don't plan on crashing the living bejesus out of, these motors might be a good. These motors will be good. You'll love these motors. That makes me kind of wonder if we should do the Acrobee into a 75 millimeter frame and put the Hummingbird motors on it and try not to crash it infinitely hard constantly. It won't really be much of a comparison to the Hummingbird, but the Hummingbird just makes more sense as a 65 because the AIO is lighter. This would kind of make more sense in a 75 millimeter frame. I wouldn't want to put it into the Cockroach 75 frame because they're a little fragile at the moment. The plastic is a little bit brittle that they're made out of. I'm crossing my fingers that down the road, at some point, Newbie Drone will make the 75 mil frame in this plastic. That would be incredible. You know what I'm saying? It would be cool to have a Newbie Drone rig for jungle gym bashing. You know what I mean? Denzel the Trouble says the DJ on the desk behind you is creeping me out with wee baby beady eyes. That's actually the beady eyes that you're seeing are just a reflection from my two main, here, watch. For my two main studio lights. Watch, they'll go, one of them will go away. Let's see, one of them went away. Now look, the other one will go away. Well, that's the one. Oh no, the other reflection is from this lamp over here, isn't it? No, it's not. Where's the other reflection coming from? It's coming from somewhere. Yeah. He's not holding his little controller anymore. It does look like he has creepy little eyes though. Here, I'll fix it. That is a little creepy. I lazily left the little dome on it. There we go. Now he's just got one big dumb eye that you can't even see a reflection off of. Better. Yeah, it's better. Kind of like the beady eyes. I'll bring the beady eyes back for Halloween. What are we doing here, friends? What do you guys want to see? I could just buy another one of these. I mean, hell, these frames are performing really well. There's a chance that I'll switch over to these frames on everything. I am not super thrilled with the Meteor 65 Air. So This Acrobee V4 board is also heavier. So it would make more sense to put it into a 75. You know what I mean? And it's got a more powerful VTX, so we can fly it farther away. I might put this into a 75 millimeter frame. I can do like a Huff 19's in the house. He says, "What's the main complaint about the Meteor Air?" It just sacrifices everything for lightness, and so it's so you end up having to detune your PIDs and add extra filtering, and that's just kind of annoying. It's not the end of the world, and you can still get a decent tune with it, but it's just kind of annoying, and it is. I've seen a bunch of them broken already, and mine is starting to crease really bad in one specific spot. So I have a feeling that the newbie drone Cockroach V3 is actually going to be a more durable frame than the Betaflight Air. And so far, I haven't had to touch my PIDs. I had to lower D gains by 0.1, which is a lot less than what I had to do on the Meteor 65 Air. So yeah, there's that. In the chat, Northern Tier FPV was first, Jack Lope was next, Frank Nicholas, FPV Flyer, Hockey Round, Douglas Otwell, Safe Zone FPV, Bob Bruce, Charles Marseille, CMYK FPV, Brandon's Baked Beans, Bob Noxious, Cole Powers, CB FPV, Brandon's Baked Beans, Bob Noxious 661, Huff 19, Tongue Out FPV, Charles Marseille, Tongue Out FPV. Getting through the duplicates here. Making sure I get everybody. I think I got everybody. Safe Zone. Eric Coker. Denny Flatland BMX. Adam Weston. Greenhorn. Curtis Hayes. What's up, everybody? Eric says, Acrobee 65 BLV4 crossfire boards do best with... Come on, YouTube. You put the icon of the thing right in the effing way. Do best with stiff frames and 0802s and tri-blade Azzy props. You won't see Azzy props here. They are way too fragile for me. It's really nice that that Newbie Drone made a crossfire board. That is really, really, really cool. And that's one of the main reasons that I want to get this Acrobee back put together. They sent me one of the crossfire boards. Patrick is actually using it and kind of beating on it and stress testing it for me, since I'm like all in on ELRS with the tiny whoops. So this is one of the ELRS boards. They're identical. They just have different... wonder if it's the same chip. I was about to say that different chipsets for different receivers may very well be the same chip. That might not be. I wouldn't be surprised if TBS does some weird proprietary stuff. Bob Noxious has the Ghost version. There we go. Between a few of us, we've got one of each. I mean, technically, we could also put the Acrobee V4 into a Meteor 65 airframe. I have one extra airframe. And what that would do is that would equalize some of the weight difference. This AIO is a little bit heavier than the Hummingbird. So if we put it into a lighter weight frame, but then all of the PID comparisons go out the window. Let's do the original plan. Let's go back to the original plan, and we're going to build this out to be as close as possible to the Hummingbird, and then we can get like a really nice test, a really nice A/B test. I'm gonna spoil the ending for you. Maybe not. Maybe I'm wrong, but I'll bet you that that the Hummingbird is better for indoor stuff, in my opinion. Ola FPV says, "What's your favorite way to hold Tiny Whoop batteries?" This is a little Tiny Whoop box that the pinch cam came in. Does it not say pinch cam anywhere on it? It doesn't say pinch cam anywhere on it. But yeah, this is the bottom of the box that when you buy a pinch cam from Tiny Whoop, it comes in, and it's just absolutely perfect for holding a bunch of rows of Tiny Whoop batteries. I also really like the Newbie Drone cases here, these little plastic cases. They come with foam inserts that have perfectly little cut jibby jabbies for you to put the batteries in. Really, really, really handy. I end up taking the foam out, and then I just put all kinds of shit in here. But yeah, those are kind of the two best ways that I've found. Ola says, I mean, on your Tiny Whoop while flying, just like in the frame, the frames are the frames are all designed to hold. What was the question? What's your favorite way to hold Tiny Whoop batteries? Yeah. All of the frames are designed with like some sort of a little slot in them, where the batteries will just go. So yeah, that's where I put them in there. That's where I put them in. Yeah, let's do that. Let's do that. Let's go back to the original plan. The original plan was good. What I might do, I'm gonna be honest. What I'll probably do is do this build tonight, test it tonight, maybe on Wednesday, and then down the road, when I want to put this frame into something else, I'm probably going to take it off of the Acrobee, and I'll probably put the Acrobee back into this really cool purple frame, or maybe even into a 75mm build, to be super honest. If I do a 75mm build with it, I can run the Hummingbird motors. It'll rip outside. It'll fly great. And then, yeah, that'll be nice, because that will allow me to compare a ducted 75 to this is where the other Acrobee V4s have gone, although this is not. But yeah, we'll be able to do a really nice comparison of non-ducted 65 versus ducted 65 versus non-ducted 75 versus ducted 75, and it'll be on all of them but this one. Other than this one, will be on Newbie Drone flight controllers. That'll be pretty cool. That'll be very cool, actually. Oh, the batteries are sliding out of the frame. Yeah, just thicken them up somehow. A little piece of shrink wrap, a little piece of electric tape, whatever. Anything will work. Cool. Yeah, that'll be nice. I actually really like that idea. But for tonight, we're gonna compare the Hummingbird to the Acrobee. Let me just really quickly grab a 75mm frame, which I don't have. Do I really not have an extra 75mm frame? I have an extra Cockroach 75, but that's for the tiny lifters. Well, shit. Maybe in one of the build bags, perhaps. I need that for those red 802 motors. How is this? What? Really? How? Why? When? What? Hold up. Okay, I do have an extra one, but I've got the snowblower motors connected to it. So for that build, I guess I'll need to snag another Mobula 7 V4 frame, or I could do a fractal build with it. Is that what I should do with it? What would a fractal 75 build do? What's the purpose behind that? I feel like if I'm going to do a fractal 75 build, it should be Walksnail, but it doesn't really make much sense to run the Meteor frame in Walksnail. You know what I mean? I don't need to figure that build out tonight. There's no rush on that. This is the other 75mm frame. This is I thought I had an extra Mobula 7 V4 frame, and this is it. And it's got the Flywoo 1002 23,500 kV motors on it. Yeah, all right. I hate the idea of like putting shit together, taking it apart, putting it together, taking it apart. But sometimes I just have to do that. Like that's just a part of it. So I just need to suck it up and do that with this, because I do want to compare these, because you know, a couple of people were looking for that comparison. So let's just do it, and then it's just one extra tear down and build back together cycle. One of the main reasons I hate taking stuff apart and putting it back together is back in my days of airsoft, when I would do that too much, everything would wear out. All of the screw holes would wear out. All of the screws would wear out. The screw heads would start stripping, and that was me like learning my lesson about doing that. So I try to not have that happen. But like sometimes it's just inevitable. You know what I mean? Like you can't always pre-plan things in a way that you can build it and then leave it forever. You know. So yeah. Let's go with the original plan. Pulling a couple propellers off here. Extra bi-blade propellers, a little bit beat up, but just hang on to them for the sake of it. So yeah, let's do it. Let's fire up the Acrobee. We'll see what's what. The only real we're gonna do a little bit of soldering on the battery lead, and then that's it though. Everything else should be plug and play. Bolt the motors down. Make sure that we use the right motor screws. Good God. I spent a lot of time on yesterday's live stream talking about the lengths of Tiny Whoop motor screws. But it's kind of important. If you don't pay attention to that, you are going to potentially ruin a set of newbie drone 702s like I did. And I don't want that for you. So... yeah, we don't need to talk about that again, though. We beat that horse to death last night. Beating horses to death is quite the aggressive analogy. You know what I mean? Like, don't beat dead horses, friends. Don't beat any horses. Just be nice to horses. Be cool. Relax. Everybody take a breath. Stop beating horses. What the fuck is wrong with you? I can't get these 702s opened. What's happening? I got them. Cool. Bolt these down. So, again, 702s. M1.4 by 2 screws come with the 702s. These will not work on this Cockroach V3 frame. The motor base on this Cockroach V3 frame is set up for or with or without use of the carbon fiber brace. If I was using the carbon fiber brace, this would be the motor mounts would be the standard thickness, and I would use these screws that come with the 702s. This frame comes with an extra short set of screws, which are M1.4 by 1 or by 1.5. These are the screws that you need to use with this frame. The frame comes with screws. Use the screws that come with the frame. You have to. Unless you buy the carbon fiber brace, and then it is going to come with its own set of screws. You could use those, or you could use the ones that come with these 702s. Yeah. So, let's dive in. Let me make sure I'm caught up on chat. If you want to talk to me directly in the chat, type CiottiFPV into your comment, and it'll light it up in orange. Bob Bruce says, what's up? CMYK says, yo, yo! CMYK is out flying right now. Lucky bastard. Charles Marseille says, good energy. What's up, my homie? Did you ever dive the clothes chute tunnel? I tried it a whole bunch. It's just unrealistic. I have to go into the dive. I have to turn the rig over. Then I have to let it fall. On the way down, I have to now turn it 90 degrees this way, At the bottom, I need to hammer the throttle to get out. There's not much of a gap. And then I need to turn it 90 degrees again to not bash it directly into the hallway wall. It's just too much. And the chute is only like this big, which is incredibly difficult to even like not just plinko all the way down. I did like 4 or 5 I put like 4 or 5 batteries into it trying it, and it was one of these situations where like I wasn't getting any closer to getting it, and that's usually when I'll bail. Like if I don't I try to stay away from stuff that is like just random chance based. Like if I'm going to do a big gnarly move, like I want it at least somewhat to be skill based and like kind of repeatable. Because like, you know, anybody can throw shit at the wall 1,000 times and one time it'll stick or it'll go through the hole. I also though I like to do something a couple of times to get it really clean. I don't like the look of just like like you're all janky and then like, oh my god, it shot the gap or whatever. Like, wow, that's amazing. Like for me, like I want it to be butter smooth and shoot the crazy gap. Like it's not enough for me to be all janked up doing the really crazy move. But that's just me, you know. That's just my sort of style of flying. No wrong answers, no right answers either. Okay. Acrobee V4 board. Bob Knox just dropping the CiottiFPV.com link. Thank you, dude. Brandon's Baked Beans' motivation issues are with the workbench currently. I feel that, always. Charles Marseille says, you've said it for years. Who cares about flight time? Just pop quick on the bench, change that BT 2.0 battery and get it back in the air. Stiffer frame. It is. Denzel the Turbo says that. Oh no, we got that. Metal Dirtson says it's another Semtech chip. They have different ones for 2.4 versus 900. Of course. Good call. Good call. Greenhorn FPV says, have you noticed any VTX floating with the Hummingbird V3? Yeah, absolutely. Newbie Drone's OSD is a little messy right now. There's something going on. It started with the Acrobee V4. This is the first AIO that Newbie Drone came out with where the OSD was just going bananas. And I know they've been working on it. They're trying to figure it out, but it's obviously not figured out yet because the Hummingbird is the same. It's not that bad. It is a little bit annoying. The most annoying part is when the OSD completely disappears and you don't have a voltage readout and you don't know if you're over discharging your battery or not. Usually the OSD will come back up pretty quick. But yeah, it's not great. I really hope that they figure it out. But yeah, it's not just you, Greenhorn. You're not losing your mind. It's all of us. Newbie Drone uses a much smaller chip for their OSD. So they have their work cut out for them. Like they have to troubleshoot that different chip with every single new version of Betaflight that comes out. And I get the feeling that with the newer versions of Betaflight, something happens. Some sort of disagreement is happening between their chip and the newer Betaflights. I don't know if that's true or not, but it just feels like what it might be. Mo FPV says, what's up? CMYK says, that would be amazing and give you like a juicy flip kick directing you down the hallway. Yeah, if I could ever do it. I really don't think that I would be able to do it. Scott FPV says, what's up? Greenhorn says, not the OSD, the actual channels and bands floating. I've not had that. The only issue I've had is with the OSD. Demo FPV says, how big of a difference in price versus performance with ready-to-fly micro and custom built? It's a great question. Price versus performance. Let me start screwing motors down to the BLV, to the Cockroach V3 frame. Got to make sure I get the right screws though. Here's what I'll say. There's a chance the ready to flies are really good, but the problem with them is like, who are they built for? They're not built specifically for you. They're built. I don't think they're built for anybody. Some ready to flies, sure. Some ready to flies that were like carefully pieced together by a pilot, more than likely overseas, because that's where most of this stuff's getting manufactured, and where most of these companies are. Yeah, for that person, it's going to be great, right? Like, we have a lot of different components that we can choose from, and there is a setup of parts that's perfect for you. Trying to figure out what that exact part combo is very difficult. It takes some time. And in theory, the bind and flies they had some care, but that's just really not it. Like, bind and flies are not. What's happening? What did Abraham do? Long time. Oh wow, new house, new job, new baby around here. Crazy busy. Intermittently, few months to say I hope you all. Dude, awesome. Love that. Love all of that. Congrats on so many different things there. Jesus. Real life is important, and this guy's got his priorities straight, and that's amazing. That's the best. Glad to have you back, dude. Awesome. That's so cool. All of that is so fucking cool. So yeah, one of my big questions with bind and flies is like, who was this built for? Like, and in a lot of cases it's not, because it's just like, it has to all be parts from that one manufacturer. So it's much less built for a specific person, or type of pilot, and more so that it's just built to fly like, it's going to sound harsh, but it's built to fly like kind of as generic as possible, and be as good for as many different people as possible. That makes sense. And so yeah, with a bind and fly, it's just not gonna have the exact right frame, motors, stack, voltage for any one of us, unless it does. I mean, technically speaking, that could happen, but man, the chances are pretty low. So yeah, the real value, in my opinion, of custom building is that you get to custom build it very specifically for you. How you fly, where you fly, what payload you're picking up, right? How heavy is your camera that you want to pick up with this thing? What kind of runtime do you want? What propeller size do you want? There's a whole big list of things. All that being said, the performance of bind and flies is pretty damn good. So you can get a bind and fly that performs really well, but it's still probably not going to be the exact right combination of parts for you. So you're still going to be flying like, it's almost like you're flying somebody else's build. And so yeah, so that is kind of the full story there, in my opinion. In terms of price, a lot of times the bind and flies are cheaper. Because you're getting all of the components from the same company, they can save money, and they can charge less, since they're selling you $200, $300, $400 worth of their stuff. They can build a little bit of a discount in there. So for a lot of people, like, your first rig, it tends to be a bind and fly, because you don't know how to custom build. And that's kind of okay, right? Because you're going to get a discount, you're going to save some money. Back in the day, the bind and fly rigs really sucked. And so it was tough, because it was like, well, yeah, I get it. You're going to buy a bind and fly for your first rig, but it's going to fly like ass. And that's going to make trying to figure out how to fly these things even more difficult. So it used to be really tough. Because it was like, yo, if you can spend the money and time, custom build something, and it'll fly better, and it'll make learning a lot easier. But I don't really think that's the case anymore. but I still do think there's a ton of value to doing a custom build. The other thing, though, that's a really big deal is that by doing custom builds, you know exactly where everything goes. You know everything about that build, and you're going to have to repair these things. Bind and flies don't save much time because you're going to have to tear it apart to fix it at some point anyway. And the better you get, the more often that's probably going to happen because you're going to start pushing yourself and crashing harder. So it's kind of tough. Like the bind and fly thing is very tempting in a lot of cases, but it really doesn't save that much time, if any. Nah, it saves a little bit of time. Well, maybe it saves time. Like, you don't know how it's built, though. So the first time you break it, you're going to have to tear it apart, and you're going to have to, like, look at everything and, like, take pictures and, like, figure out what goes where, versus with a custom-built rig, you're going to pull it apart and know exactly where everything is. You're going to fix it and throw it and slam it back together. So it almost depends on, like, how much you're going to fly. If you're going to fly a bunch, yeah, no, I mean, there's a lot. There's a lot that goes into it. There's a lot of pluses and minuses on either side. But the performance gap has really shrunken quite a bit over the last, like, 5 or so years between the outright performance of the bind and flies and the performance of custom builds. Custom builds are always going to be better because they're going to be specifically designed for you as you know, as a pilot. But yeah, the bind and flies aren't like, you know, we used to, like, look down on people that would fly bind and flies. Like, oh, you can't even custom build. Pfft, you're not a, you know, what are you, a Mavic pilot? Pfft. And that's not the case anymore. I mean, there are quite a few, and this just makes me cringe so hard, but it is what it is. There are a number of professional pilots that are flying bind and flies, which, I don't know, to me is just absolute madness. But you know, if you take all that time that you would have spent on the bench and learning, and you put that into marketing yourself, you can find a lot of clients. And part of being a professional anything is making money and you know, having clients. So it's actually probably, with how good the bind and flies have gotten, it's probably a better idea. I absolutely hate saying this, but it's probably a better idea to just like get a small personal loan or something like that and buy a whole bunch of bind and flies and just fly them and spend all of your time doing outreach and all of the things involved with marketing yourself to find customers that'll pay for FPV footage. Yeah, I don't know. That scares me, though. I mean, on one hand, it scares me. On the other hand, it's like, well, shit, if you have 3 or 4 of a half-decent bind and fly, you know, the bind and flies are probably built, you know, the bind and flies are built by people that are better builders than a lot of pro pilots that I know that build their own stuff. Oops. You know, they might be being built down to a price, but they're being built by people that are building them all day, so they're getting good, right? They're soldering their 5,000th motor on, and, like, even though they're doing it quickly, they've done it a bunch, so they're able to do it well. I've got 2 extra of these newbie drone frame screws. Didn't I make little bags yesterday and didn't I Sharpie onto them? I thought I did something very smart. I thought I had a moment. I thought I had a real moment of Genius. No, wait, what is it? Real Men of Genius. I thought I had a Real Men of Genius moment. Demo FPV says, is this the same for micro whoops? Would you recommend building them rather than something like a Mobula 6? With tiny whoops, it's different because the build is so quick and easy. But what's funny is my preferred build is actually just buying an entire Mobula 6 ELRS and then swapping the motors and the frame out. So yeah, with tiny whoops, it's a different story. They're just so easy to build. It's like just do custom builds. Although it's barely a custom build. It's just a bind and fly where you're swapping. I guess you got to swap the battery lead as well to BD 2.0 or A30. But yeah, by buying the Mobula 6 ELRS, you get the good flight controller, the good camera, the good canopy, and if you were to buy those three separately, it would pretty much cost you exactly what the entire rig would cost you. So you end up getting a free frame that sucks, a free set of motors that suck, but there's something. What? I swear to God, I had a Real Men of Genius moment and saved the extra M1.4 by 1 screws from the other frame. There should only be 2 of them. I did. And I put them in this little box right here. Watch this. Watch this. Watch this. God, I hope they're in here. I hope I really did. Is that them? Is that them? That's them! I knew it. I did not label the little bag, though. But maybe because I'm not totally sure that they're M1.4 by 1, but I'm going to take a guess. And I'm going to write it on here. M1.4 by 1. Label your shit, friends. Label your stuff, because time is going to go by and then you're going to forget what the hell it is, and then you're going to be screwed. I speak from experience on that one. So yeah, label your stuff. You will not always remember exactly what is in the bag. Can you write, please, brand new Sharpie? By the time you need to go back in the bag. Especially if you do builds that are somewhat durable. You know what I mean? The idea is to not have to constantly go back to your spare parts. Okay. So M1.4 by 1. Oh wait, are they not the ones? They look like they're a little bit longer. The screw situation is a tiny bit confusing with these. No, that's them. M1.4 by 1. There we go. All right, yeah, so I have some extras here. That's good. Shout out to Newbie for giving you not 1, but 2 extra M1.4 by 1 screws with your Cockroach V3 frame. This way you can drop one of them onto the carpet while you're doing the build. And then when you're swapping motors someday, you can drop another one into Never Never Land. And you'll still be okay. Newbie Drone's got your back, yo. The question now is, where do I put this? Because putting it in this box is not a great idea. I'm just going to put it back in the box. It's fine. It's fine. So this is one of the prototype frames. I don't want this. Get in there. And then this is the okay, so then this little baggie I can label M1.4 by 2. This being the baggie that came with the 0702 motors. M 1.4 by 2. There we go. Now everything's labeled. M 1.4 by 1, M 1.4 by 2. Thumbs up. All right, this box can go back here, and now we can actually dive into this. Good questions, Demo. You're welcome, brother. Ola says, any frame better than the Meteor 75? I got my Mobula 6 today, but want a 75mm frame. Unless you're going to be flying it outside, I would definitely not recommend going to a 75. It makes it significantly harder to fly indoors. If you're looking to the 75mm builds, for me, they do one thing really well, and that's what I call jungle gym bashing, and it's great fun. And if that's what you're looking to do with it, if you've got some really cool jungle gyms at your kid's school or around the corner or whatever, yeah, 75mm builds is a great idea. Otherwise, for like indoor stuff, it's just the rig ends up having too much power and being too heavy, and it just makes your life a lot harder. It's hard to fly these things inside, so you want to make build choices that are going to make it easier, not more difficult. You know what I mean? And so, yeah, it's already a tall order being able to confidently fly these things in the house and like have fun with it. It can get very frustrating because it is so difficult. And yeah, a 75mm setup is going to make that significantly harder. So think about that for sure. Your main question, though, any frame better than the Meteor 75? Yeah, absolutely. I actually really don't like the Meteor 75 frame. The Mobula 7 frame is significantly better than the Meteor 75 frame, so I would definitely go that route if you're looking to do a 75mm build. I did not have any luck with the Meteor frame. It had resonance problems, and I couldn't even get a half-decent PID tune on it, so I just bailed on it right away. But it was also like very, very gummy and spongy and floppy, and it's probably why it was having tune issues. But yeah, was not impressed by the Meteor 75 frame. I had really high hopes for it because the Meteor 65 frame is the jam. So yeah, I was a little disappointed. But what's nice is that the Mobula 7 V4 frame is just awesome. That's the one that you want, by the way, the Mobula 7 V4 frame. It's phenomenal. It's really, really, really good. So you'll dig it. Buy 2 of them. Eventually, you're gonna break the battery bay if you're really bouncing it off metal jungle gyms, and they don't really cost anything. So with tiny whoop frames, always buy 2, if not 3. Same as propellers. You're gonna break frames. And just having an extra one for another $4 or $5 sitting around is clutch. And then like down the road, if they discontinue the frame, you'll have an extra one. So you'll be covered there as well, which is nice. All right, cool. So I've got this second set of Newbie Drone 0702 29,000 kV motors installed on the Cockroach V3 frame. And let me take these this set of the 0702s that I destroyed by accident by putting motor screws on that were too long back in one of these little cases here, because I'm going to save them. God forbid down the road I need an extra stator or whatever. Yeah, these are going to come in handy for that. So let's just hang on to these guys. And then we are going to shorten up the BT 2.0 lead. Maybe we'll even put an A90 lead on it. A30 lead on it. A90 is the Supra. It's the current generation Supra. I knew I was going to make that mistake more than once. And then, yeah, we will let her rip. This is a set of the regular motor plugs. These I can use on those. Maybe I'll put those 0802 tiny whoop motors. Maybe I'll put those onto one of these non-prop guarded rigs. I'm gonna take a set of these out because I'm gonna end up putting these on those 802s. I'll bet. Yikes! All right. So I'll save one set and then I'll put the other set onto these 802 30,000s. They're great little motors, but they're kind of heavy. There are, 802s. There are 802s that are a lot lighter than them. The EXs are the ones that are a lot lighter, and I have not had any durability problems with the EXs. They just don't really make much sense on 65 millimeter rigs. I can't, like, the weight, even the lightweight 802s on a 65 millimeter rig, they just feel way too heavy to me. They're not actually that heavy, but they're the 702s and the 603s are just absolute magic. Which is really what's going on. Like, the 802s are actually, like, fine, but the 702s are just kind of, like, optimized for things in places. Abraham says building micros is for masochists only. This crowd do be like that, though. Indeed we do. All right, bench time. Kill me. Here we go. Here's the Acrobee. What should I do? An A30 or try to shorten up this BT 2.0 lead, or just leave this BT 2.0 lead? If this board down the road is going to end up on a 75 millimeter frame, and those batteries are a little bit longer, so I'm tempted to just leave this lead like this. It's working. And I weighed the extra little bit of wire that I cut when I did the Hummingbird, and it was 0.1 of a gram. So yeah, I'm gonna leave this lead like this because it's just not 0.1 of a gram is just not enough. That's not enough weight to care about, to be brutally honest. So yeah, let's leave that alone. I'm going to route this ELRS antenna. So this Acrobee has double. I don't know if it's actual diversity, but we'll just say it's diversity because that's the buzzword that we use for when there's two antennas. It's got two antennas for Express LRS. So not only does this thing have a more powerful VTX compared to the Hummingbird, but the Express LRS should also work better from it having two antennas. It comes with a T antenna up on top. I have removed that T antenna because I don't really need that extra range, and it is a little bit heavy. It adds a little bit of extra weight. I have replaced the T antenna with just another one of their regular whip style ELRS antennas. So no big deal there. Nothing groundbreaking to report on that front. But yeah, I just want to let you know what's going on there. So with this bottom, so one of the ELRS antennas plugs in on the bottom of the AIO. So with that antenna, I'm going to run it up through this rear hole in the frame here. And what's cool is they've got a little notch here that I can that I can slot it into. Let me kind of show you this because this is pretty slick. They put a little tiny notch on the back of the frame there. There you go. And so you can slap that little bottom ELRS antenna right in there. So there's where the ELRS antenna starts there next to the red, and then it runs down. And so I run it up through that hole in the frame and then just put it in that little notch there, and that'll kind of keep it centered. Eventually, what I would end up doing is just putting a tiny little blob of welder there, and then that would really just absolutely hold it for good. This build is probably going to move around a little bit, so I'm not going to do that today. But yeah, if I was going to do this as a forever build, I would definitely put a little blob of welder in there just to hold this thing in. The other ELRS antenna that comes out the top, I'm just going to run that out the canopy. Speaking of the canopy, the Hummingbird rig is using a red goober canopy, so I figured on this one we could use a purple. But, and it's a big stanky butt. It's a big old stank butt, my friends. I would kind of like to run a, in the interest of doing as little work possible, I've got a BI camera that's in a teal goober canopy right now with the antenna like ready to go, and I'm really tempted to just do this, to just transfer this, but I don't know, like I'm not really into teal, so let's torture ourselves. Also, the way that these goober canopies mount in BI cameras mount into these goober canopies is annoying is a word that I could use to try to be nice. It's just tough. It's once it's in there, it's great, but it's a little difficult. So in the moment there, I was like, please God, don't make me do this again. But it's actually not that bad. The most recent time that I did it, it was not terrible. So I'm gonna try it again. Let's save some of these Azzy props here. I don't know why. I never use them, but whatever. Save all the things. Okay. So we've got some things going on here. Let's get this moving here. All right. That purple cockroach frame can go in there. So here we go with the purple people eaters. The people purple eaters. Okay, so we need one of those. We need 2 of these screws. And we need 1 of these. Alright. Newbie Drone given extra screws with their goober canopies too. 10,000 points for you guys. Thank you, thank you, thank you for giving extra screws with your stuffs. Okay, so let's get this BI camera out of here, and I'm not gonna transfer over this antenna here set up. They've got like an extra rubber grommet to hold the antenna in the canopy really nice. I love, in theory I love that, but rubber is kind of heavy and we're trying to reduce weight here, so I'm gonna leave that out. Yeah, see this like big rubber grommety thing here? It's just extra weight for me. Really cool idea, and I love it for newbies. But I'm not a newbie anymore. Look at the teal on the purple, man. That looks cool though. That was the original plan. The original plan was put it back together like this, teal and purple. But like, I don't know. I'm a purple and red kind of guy, you know what I mean? All right. So, Newbie Drone BI camera. I think came out like this. I swear to God, if I mount this thing wrong, I'm going to be a little bit upset. So I'm going to take this piece out like that, and then I'm going to put this one back on in the same direction, and in theory, this is going to mount in the right direction. I'm going to look at one of the other ones, though, before I put it all the way back together, just to try and make sure. I'm actually going to do that right now. So the BI camera, all I got to do is look at where the cables exit. So the cables exit on the left. Oh, boy. I'm glad. Wait. No, yep. I had it right. I got it right. Okay. Yep. Okay, so cables exit on the left, so that means this piece sits like this. And now here's the fiddly part. It's getting this piece and the camera in here, in the little slots, and then getting the screws down in there. So first things first, you got to get the camera into the slots that are in there. And I've almost got it. Not quite. This plastic piece kind of like gets in the way when you're trying to do this. So just take deep breaths and just relax. It's going to get frustrating. You can do it, though. Just keep at it. Keep being gentle, and there it is. The camera is now not in its home. It's not even close. Okay. All right. Let's try this again. Put the camera through the hole. There it is. Good. Lens has to go through the front first, and then it'll sit down in the little slot. And now for the actual difficult part. Getting the screws into this plastic thing and then getting them to bite and not cross-thread themselves. This is the tough part. So this is where you really do need to just breathe through it. And try not to freak out! Helps to have a magnetic screwdriver. Nerves of steel. There is a chance that I just did this on the first shot. And if that's true... No, it's not true. No, I'm not even close. Okay. I knew that wasn't going to be true. In my heart of hearts, I knew that that was... Oh, boy. Yeah, so what happens is like you'll get one side to bite and then it like weirdly pulls up on the other side, but at the same time like this piece has to go forward more. It's just a crazy kind of design. And it just wants to cross thread. Like all it wants to do in life is cross thread. It's just cross-threading is everything to this mount setup. It just waits at home to cross-thread itself. It waits in their factory to cross-thread on you. It's just sitting there like, oh man, I can't wait to go to someone's home so that I can cross-thread like absolute crazy on them and just make them want to cry. It's not that bad. It's almost that bad. Come on! Get in there. There's really like it's just impossible for me to show you the situation of like why it wants to cross thread, like why it doesn't want to line up. You just have to take my word for it. Anybody that has dealt with a camera swap and a goober canopy knows. And sometimes they'll actually speak up in the chat and be like, yeah, this is brutal. Sometimes, not always. A lot of times you'll be able to get one screw on, but then you can't get the other one on, which is just brutal. So definitely don't like screw one of them all the way in. I might have just gotten it. I think I just got it. Yeah, definitely don't just screw one all the way in and then expect to get the other one. You're never going to get it. You got to screw one in. Never going to get it, never going to get it, never going to get it, never going to get it. You got to screw one in just a little bit to where it bites, and then you might be able to get the other one in. I think I got it. I think that I got it. I got it. I am a king among men. I am God of getting these things screwed in here. Now I'm going to try to do something really dumb, so that I don't lose the screws for this turquoise one. I'm going to try to screw this turquoise one back into the turquoise camera. If you want to see cursing and screaming and peeing your pants, this is it. Here we go. Although it might actually be easier without the camera in it. No, it's not. It's not. It's not easier. The goober canopy is like just small enough where human fingers just do not fit in there. And so you have to like balance it in this really weird way. Oh, I got it. Nope, it's cross-threading. But it's actually okay that it's cross-threading in this case because I just want to get it screwed in a little bit so that this piece doesn't... Oh, and look, it broke. The plastic piece broke. When the hell did that happen? Probably the last time I was trying to get it together. Okay, so that's fine. They're just screwed in there enough to where I won't lose them. This is me rubbing my hands together. Does that do anything for you? No? All right. Okay. Oh, this is that BI that I've got in the McStinky canopy. Does the McStinky canopy work on the... No, not really. It doesn't really work well on the... It doesn't really work well on the Hummingbird either. The McStinky canopy, you gotta have... The front of the AIO has to be clear. And these two builds, the front of the AIO is not clear. And that makes the McStinky sit basically sideways, which is not good. So yeah, I've actually got two sets of these Hummingbird 0802 25,000 kV motors. So if you want one of these sets, let me know. I'm pretty sure though, like I said, I am going to use these on a 75mm build with this Acrobee board. That just makes a lot more sense for the heavier board with more VTX power, with more ELRS range, is to be on a 75 that gets bounced around outside. Matter of fact, you guys can't have these motors. I'm going to need these extra motors because I'm going to bounce this thing off of Jungle Gyms for the rest of its life. So I'm going to need all 8 of these motors. So screw you, they're mine. You can't have them. Never going to get it, never going to get it, never going to get it, never going to... all right, yeah, so these are going to be the 75mm... Acrobee V4 motors that I will use down the road. But for tonight, we are focusing on this 65mm build. Here's an extra one of these little 2.4 tuned whip antennas. Let's put that aside. Okay, so canopy's going to go on, and that's pretty much it. So let's get the camera plugged in here, which is also a little bit fiddly, but I've done it enough times where I should be able to get it. Yep, there it is. Okay. Always make sure that this camera plug is really like plugged in hard. It will absolutely try to unplug itself on you. The whip antenna for video is going to go through the main hole in the canopy, and then I like to put the ELRS antenna up through these little extra smaller holes I like to use the rear one. Doesn't matter which side. Why am I having such a hard time doing this? What is happening? What the hell? Get in there. Get. Come on, man. Get. What? Why? Got it. All right, be fine. Okay, camera's plugged in. Antennas are routed through the holes. Where's the front of the AO? All right, now it's good. It's good. Okay, let me pull these through a little bit more just so they don't pop out. All right, front screw hole. I'm just going to use the regular old screws that that Newbie Drone ships these with for the front and the sides. And then in the rear, as I always do with Goober canopies, I'm going to run one of these longer Mobula 7 HD screws, which will prevent the back post from breaking off of the frame itself, because the Goober canopy is a really, really tough plastic, a really hard plastic, and this frame is a very soft plastic. And the way that the Goober canopy takes impacts, it puts a lot of stress on that rear screw mounting hole. But if you do this trick and you put a longer screw in the rear, it just completely fixes it. Like, it's just good to go with the longer screw in there. So definitely do that if you're going to run a Goober canopy on anything. All right. We got one screw in the side here. And then we got another regular one on the other side. I cranked that one a little bit too tight and it's making the canopy sit up, but it's going to be all right. Okay, there we go. Two side screws are buried, and now for the rear extra long screw. We've got it. Good to go. All right. Race Day Quads does sell these. It's like $4. Only get them from there if you're doing an order and can get free shipping. Don't pay like $6 shipping for four of these little screws, in my opinion. Just gives you an excuse to buy some more stuff, you know what I mean? Nothing wrong with that. Hopefully. That's between you and whoever you live with. All right, side screws. Let's make sure that these are tight. Good to go. And the other one. All right, beautiful. And then the rear screw, I really cranked down there. Always take the canopy and give it a little twist, a little wiggle. Make sure that the mounting points are not moving all around. You want this thing to be as solid as possible. I am going to feed this ELRS antenna through just a little bit, just so that the black part of the antenna is poking up through the hole, like that. And then what I like to do is put a little bend in the black part of the ELRS antenna, just so that the black part of the antenna has extra shielding, and it's a lot stronger. It's a lot more resistant to being bent over and over and over again. The active element of the antenna is the silver part. You want to try to just have that be straight. You don't want that to get bent over and over and over again. Eventually it will break. So yeah, that's a quick and easy way to kind of handle that. Just put like a little 90-degree bend in the black part of the antenna. I kind of did it in the wrong direction here, so I'm going to redo it real quick. I did that a little sloppily. And there we go. That's better. All right. That looks fine. And then the video antenna is just going to kind of hang out. It's going to be fine. Sometimes I'll like push it back in here like this, but it'll usually pop back out. It's fine. It's fine. You would think that the antenna being loose in there would cause some issues with vibrations, but I've never noticed it. I've always expected it, but it's never actually happened. Kind of cool. Let me just do one more quick little wiring jibbo jabbo in here. I want to get these wires all bundled up nice so that nothing's smashing into anything else. There we go, and cool. All set. Okay, we are good. Let's get these motors plugged in, and then we're going to throw props on. We're going to get it into Betaflight and get the motor spinning in the right direction. I'm going to check the RPM that these motors spin up to, just like we did on the Hummingbird. Make sure that they're, what did we see, 80,000 with the props off? I think it was. Was it 80 or was it 90? Do you guys remember? It was just yesterday. Who remembers? 10 points if you remember. Points are redeemable for nothing. Right. Motor 3 and now motor 4. The entire, just now dropping this, that's the entire working on Tiny Whoop experience. It's like it's so small and lightweight that like the entire time I'm working on it, I feel like I'm dropping it. It's just like constantly falling to the ground. It's just what it feels like for some reason. All right, and get these wires nice and tidy. Looking good. Looking good, little Acrobee. Matthew Graham says, been watching you review all these new frames. Which one is your favorite, and do you like it more than the OG Meteor 65 frame? I don't really have a favorite. I don't think. They're all different for different reasons, and they do different things differently. The Meteor 65 Air frame is the lightest, and so I like that about it. But it's not quite durable enough, in my opinion. It might be durable enough for you, but for me, it's not. The old school Meteor 65 frame is still just a total winner. Right, and then I want left and left. The Weebleed FPV crown frame, if they can pour it out of a different material, a material that's a little bit less brittle, it could be a real winner. At that point, it will be very similar to the Newbie Drone Cockroach V3 that we're running here. This frame has really impressed me. I really like it for all the same reasons that I like the Weebleed frame. It's not quite as light as the Meteor 65 Air, but it's almost as light, and it's not as floppy, so you don't have to back your PIDs off like you do with the Meteor 65 Air frame. So yeah, each one has different pluses and minuses, as all things do in life. They're so cheap that to some extent, just buy one of each and try them out for yourself. See which one holds up to your crashes, right? Like, we all crash differently. One of them might crash better in your exact situation, or maybe not. It's really hard to tell. Let's see. Oh, that's right. The BLV4, for some reason, does not work with bidirectional D-shot. So we are not going to be able to take a look at what RPM this spins the motors up to. That's a shame. That's a big plus for the Hummingbird, in my opinion, is that it does work with bidirectional D-shot. We can, though, use the motor direction wizard. That does not require bidirectional D-shot. So motor 1 is wrong. Click it to reverse it. Motor 2 is also wrong. That means motors 3 and 4 are probably going to be right. Nope, 3 is wrong. And 4 is wrong. Wow, they're all going the wrong direction. Well, they're all going props in, but I want them to be props out. So now we're good. Stop motors, close. I always like to double check it. Turn this on, fire them up. 1 is correct. 2 is correct. 3 is correct. 4 is correct. Good to go. And just take a quick look at the tune. Damping 1.2, tracking 1.0. Feed forward is cranked up to 0.8. I'm going to back that off. I just don't like the way that it looks in the footage or feels. Drift wobble iGame 0.8. Pitched and damping and tracking 1.1. Master multiplier is up at 1.4. That's a lot. Let's back that off a little bit. And then we'll push a little bit more D gain in here. And then we'll push a little bit more P gain in here. By doing that, by backing off the master multiplier and then adding it into the damping and tracking sliders, basically the master multiplier is going to push the feed forward and it's going to push the D max. And I don't necessarily want them to get pushed. So yeah, you can just pull that master down and increase the damping and the tracking. So this is looking good. Let's save this. And make sure that my rates are on here. They are. The filters 1.5 and 1. Yeah, so the filtering is going to be different on this one. Man, I can't... It is not going to be a perfect head-to-head comparison with these two, this versus the Hummingbird, because of the lack of RPM filtering on this. I completely forgot about that. That is a shame. That is a real shame. I am actually going to ask Kelvin if they ever got to the bottom of that, because I really hate not having RPM filtering. Cold Power says might be time to invest in an RPM meter. No, I'm not. I never want to be the full-blown like super technical guy. Like there are other people that are way better at that, way smarter than me, way more engineering minded. And so yeah, I will stay in my lane. I try to be like I put more of my effort into, it's gonna sound very douchey, but more like the art of FPV, the flying, the cinematography, the relationship between the camera movements that we can do with these things, in relation to the 8 to 12 like standard camera moves that we have in the film world. 20-ish years ago, I got a degree in TV radio, and that's where like this whole journey kind of started, if I really look back on it. So yeah, I approach drones less as like fighter jets and more as camera platforms. And that's like my background, and that's, in my opinion, what like where my strength lies is in that. So yeah, I try to keep the technical stuff. And I mean, I am more technical than most, but that's because I think that you should be. Like I think that FPV pilots should be somewhat technically minded and experienced, so that if there's an issue, if they're at a different air density, God knows, there's so many things that can go wrong with these. You can make fixes and make changes and not have to, not be screwed, basically. But there are plenty of pro pilots that are not that, and it's that's cool too, because less barriers to entry, right? We want everybody to be able to enjoy. Not everybody, but we want the right people to be able to enjoy FPV. Definitely not everybody. FPV is absolutely not for everyone. It's not for most, as a matter of fact, but it is for some. We want more of the right people, but it's hard to be picky and choosy. Let's see how the Acrobee V4 flies. with pretty much identical setup to the Hummingbird. How's that sound, yo? Is it still ELRS 3.0? I don't remember. This might be ELRS 2.5. I might need to switch modules between these two rigs. If so, I'm going to be pissed because that's just obnoxious. Hopefully, though, it's bound right now. Nope, I'm going to have to switch. I am going to, at some point, I'm going to update this damn thing. I wish I could backdate the Hummingbird, to be honest, to use the same module that I use for everything else. Let's see if sometimes when you just plug the modules in like that, they don't want to bind. It won't bind now for sure because this thing just went into Wi-Fi mode. So let's cycle the power. I can't believe I have to switch the modules between the two newbie drone rigs. Oh boy. Hey. Does it fly? It flies! Let's do it, yo. Oh man, I don't have the extra gate set up. That's okay. We're just gonna re-familiarize ourselves with the Acrobee V4. Hi-ya! Feels fine. Oh god, please no. It does not feel heavier. Matter of fact, it almost feels like it has more power, which makes absolutely no sense. I just want to check all the antennas to make sure they're not getting down into the propellers. We good. Why does this feel so powerful? So the PID tune is right on the limit. I can hear the PID tune at 0 throttle just starting to get a little jittery. And a little bit angry. Ah! Oh, I'm like super over-rotated on that. Oh god, right into the couch. Good place to crash. Oh no! Let's get it. Oh! Ah, too fast. Oh my god, I full throttled it right into the carpet. Oh, and it did not like it. I think I lost a propeller. I think that left front propeller is missing. Let's go take a look. Yep, it's gone. Left front propeller has left the chat. Where did it go? Is it over here? Nope. Is it over here? Nope. Is that it? Nope. Alright, I'll find it. I'll find it another time. Let's just slap another one on there. Oh my god, I lost 2 propellers. Both of the counterclockwise propellers have left the chat. Okay. How the hell does that work? Let's put 2 more on and keep going. Yeah. Yeah. This room is going to be covered in Gemfan biblades. All right, stay on, propellers. Come on. Listen, when it's floating, just listen. Ready? Oh God, why? So let me. How's this tune? A little bit more. It's having a little bit of a harder time than the Hummingbird in terms of prop wash handling. Still not bad. Oh god, this battery is all the way down in Chinatown. 3.34. Why was I not getting a low battery warning? What the hell's that about? 3.57. Yeah, hold on. Why am I not getting a warning? I don't want to ruin any more of these batteries. I've been hard on these batteries lately. Okay, connect and power 3 and 3.3. Let's raise it up. 3.1 and 3.4. Save. Might as well set the capacity while I'm in here. All right, cool. And then in the OSD, let's make sure that warnings are turned on. And they are. Okay, cool. So we're good. Save, disconnect. First impressions are... Feels very similar, but I think it maybe has more power, which makes no sense because it's heavier. Speaking of it being heavier, let me tell you exactly how much heavier it is. Newbie drone, Acrobee V4 swapped over into 702 motors, BT 2.0 motor lead, lighter weight ELRS antenna on the top, and Gemfan biblades and Cockroach V3 frame. Is not that bad. 20.6 of a gram. Hummingbird with very similar mods. Wow, that's a lot lighter. 19.3. This scale is all over the goddamn place right now. What's happening? This scale is oscillating between 18.8 and 19.4. Fuck is that about? That is 19.6. What the Why is this scale shitting the bed all of a sudden? What's happening here? It's been totally fine up until just now. Let's try this again. Wow, the Hummingbird is a lot lighter. Hummingbird. 19.6, 19.7, 19.8, 20, 19.8, 19.9, 20, 19.7. What the hell? I guess I need a new scale. 21.1. Yeah, this scale's fucked. Well, that's obnoxious. 20.2. That ain't right. Hold on, let me take this off of here. Ah, the scale's zeroing. Now it says negative 0.9 of a gram. Yeah, this scale's ruined. That's super annoying. Anybody know if I have... Yeah, negative 2 grams, 0 grams, negative 2... Yeah, this scale's jacked up. Maybe that'll help. Oh, I broke it all the way. Nope. There it goes. Let's try one more time. Nope. Yeah, it's bouncing all over the place. 20.2, 20.3, 20.5, 20.0, 20.3, 20.5, 20.6. Yeah, this scale is fucked. Let me try it without this thing on it. A little bit less weight on there. 20.9 for the Hummingbird. No, that ain't right. 21.1. That ain't right. 21.2. Yeah, no, this scale's busted. That sucks a big bag of dicks. Negative 1.8. Yeah, no, this scale's fucked. This is how you ruin a scale. Hey, it's all the way broken now. Cool. I guess maybe the batteries could just be dying, but no. That's not how it works. Anybody know of a half-decent cheap scale on Amazon, maybe? I don't need 2 decimal places. The cheap scales, when you have 2 decimal places, it's just wishful thinking. 19.7, 19.3, 1920, 19.7, 19.5. You know, mid-19s for the Hummingbird, maybe. And then, like, high 20, 21.3, 21.9, 21.7, 21.6. I don't know. No! Bad! In the bin! That's not crazy. That's not a crazy thing to do. Battery bounced back to 3.6. All is right with the world. One more battery in the Acrobee. And then we're going to fly the Hummingbird. What's happening? I just swallowed my own spit. What's happening in chat? I'm ignoring it, apparently. Off-axis says, wow, so just typing CiottiFPV will tag you in the chat now. It will indeed, off-axis. And you guys can do that with each other. If you type anybody's name into the chat, it'll light up an orange. So you can do that with each other if you want to get somebody's attention. I think it's always been like that. I don't think that's anything new, per se. Adam Weston says, new scale battery? Nah, it's broken now. Cole Power says, your scale is due for some percussive maintenance. He also says, if it's stuck, force it. If it's break, it needed a replacement anyway. Yeah, exactly. But if it works, you're a genius with a golden touch. Hell yeah. Okay, here we go. More abuse. Nah, we're not really abusing this. We're more just checking out the flight characteristics. Look at that battery, 4.42. What the fuck? Here we go! Oh, god damn it. Come on now. Woo boy! That I did not mean to get that close. That was not planned. Oh god! Come on. No! Tried to arm it on the way down. Yeah, see, I mean, the prop wash handling is almost as good. Almost as good. Oh, I do need to check what gyros are on each one of these. I do want to look at that. Ooh. Oh, God. So this is good. We've got 2 of these Cockroach V3 frames up. So we can continue the testing. Oh, boy, oh, boy. We can double up the testing, I should say. Oh, God, why? Did I go through there? I think it did. Getting dirty with the newbie drone gates. Come on now. No. Leave me be. Oh, we got it in there. That's what she said. Yeah, buddy. I tried to do like absolute full tilt Matty flip there, and it did not. Oh God, go well. Uh-oh. Wow, this is brutal. Oh, don't. No. Don't punish me. Please, no. Oh boy. Oh, I got it. Might not have it. I might have it. Nope. Oh, come on. Don't give me the stupid timer bullshit. Hey, there we go. No, no. Yep. Hey. Okay. Stop it. Jesus. Fuck. Oh, what the hell was that? Ah! Oh, come on now. I didn't even throw it hard enough to... this is just... Sometimes... Oh, okay. I don't get it, man. Like, okay, there's another propeller flying off. It hit me in the back. Yeah, I don't know. Sometimes I can't do anything. Anything. Everything is a crash. It's kind of crazy. Why is this sitting so crooked on the table here? No, we're good. All right. Because I try to do like gigantic stuff constantly. I don't just like cruise around. Like I try to jam pack 18 power loops and donkey whips and schmingy schmongs into every single battery. Okay, I think that was the end of the battery, 3.5. Yeah, it's not giving me warnings. I guess maybe just the OSD is like really blinking out like crazy. Let's go over to the Hummingbird and we will see if I can tell a difference. Realistically, I maybe should be able to tell a difference from the weight difference between the two, but I don't know about that. Here are my ELRS settings. I'm going to try to mirror these ELRS settings. 250 hertz, telemetry 1/32, 100 milliwatts. 250, 132, 100. 250, 132, 100. 250, 132, 100. This module is set at 500 hertz, 1/64, and 50 milliwatts. So everything's different. So let's bring the packet rate down to 250. We're going to bring the transmitter power to 50. Is that what I said it was? Maybe. I don't know. 50. Great. And the telemetry, I'm going to bring that down to 132. Come on, man. Let me change it. Telemetry ratio 132. Okay, cool. Hummingbird. Oh, I didn't realize I had that camera on the whole time. Sorry, friends. Hummingbird going up in the air. Same motors, same props, same frame, same canopy, same camera. Different AIO. ELRS 3.0 rather than 2.5, which does not matter. There we go. Rejected. Oh, come on now. Be cool, be cool, be cool, be cool. Oh! I don't know. I for some reason, I feel like it has a little bit less power, but maybe not. Oh! Ow! Jesus! That hit the table hard, and then it hit me in the tits. Okay, I just apparently thought the couch would move. Okay. Ah! MAH, guys. MAH. MAH. Hey, it's gone. Oh, God, no. You know what? These two do not have crash recovery on them, and that might be a part of the reason that I'm just absolutely crashing all over the place. I'm not super confident that I can tell a difference. Woo, God, I thought I was gonna get away with it. Nope. I'm armed, guys, I'm armed. Stop it. Maybe. Maybe I need to just charge into that dive gap. Let's try it. Oh, it does help. Okay. Okay, that was the opposite of charging into it. Let's just bounce off everything now. Ready, guys? Let's bounce into everything! Get you some. Now we're doing all right. Hey, that's my crotch. No Stevie Wondering tonight. All right, let's go back to the Acrobee as quick as I can. Back to the Acrobee. Wait, no. Don't go back to the Acrobee because this battery that I just flew has been sitting for a day. The next 3 batteries are fresh off the charger. So I'm going to pull all 3 of these off the charger. I'm going to put another one through this Hummingbird, and then we're going to do the Acrobee. So let me make sure these are batteries from the same batch. Okay, so I've got 2 blues and a green. So we're going to run 1 blue right now in the Hummingbird rig. And then we're going to run the other blue battery, which is from the same batch, same number of discharge cycles in the Acrobee. And I'll see if I can discern any differences between the two. I kind of hope that I can, because there is a weight difference. Like, that's real. Oh, the rubber grommet ripped on the that holds the antenna in the canopy. That's interesting. I must have hit this thing hard to do that. Good Lord. Hold up. Just trying to get this off now that it's ruined. There we are! Okay. And let's stuff this antenna back in here. Good to go. Alright, one more on the Hummingbird, which is more than a gram lighter, and I really should be able to tell. Almost Stevie Wondered it. I really should be able to tell the difference. Okay, works well. The motors don't want to. The motors are being very upset. Weird, man. That was very weird. I have no idea what was happening there. Oh! Oh God. Oh God, no. Be nice to me! White Stig, be nice to me! No! 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 Stop it! Please! No! No! Stop it! No! Let me out! Come on! Yes! That's what I want. Yes! The fuck? There we go. Alright, well now that half the battery's gone. Ugh. Got it. All of a sudden the camera looks way different. Is there not like a ton of contrast on this camera all of a sudden? What you know about that? Oh God. Violent. No! Oh my god, why me? Get a piece of donkey. Oh, great. Here we go. Oh, out the side. That's different. Okay, good, good. Let's just do that. That's a great idea. Here we go. Oh, what? How did I not? Okay. Oh. What was that? Oh, no. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Stop it, stop, stop, stop. Okay. Stop. Come on, man. Let me fly for 4 fucking seconds before something eats me. Okay. Didn't even get into the... Oh, you son of a bitch. Ah, there it is. Good. Good. Oh my god. Going in there hot. Alright. Okay. Good time to end. Okay, so that's the Hummingbird. Back to the Acrobee. It's 11:59, my friends. It's about to be Tuesday. What do you think of that? Let's check the gyros before I forget. This is the Hummingbird, and it is the V3. And we're gonna come into the CLI and type status. And then we're gonna take a look right here. And it's telling us that it's got a BMI 270. All right. Let me check a couple things real quick. Get PID sum. Okay, I do have PID sum cranked up. Get crash. Do I have crash recovery turned on? Nope, crash recovery is off. Okay, so it's off on both of them. Good. Okay, and now here is the Acrobee. I'm pretty sure it also has a BMI 270, but let's check. The big difference, though, in the two of these, in the tunes and whatnot, and I think the reason that I can't get that the flight performance is not quite as good on the Acrobee is that it does not use RPM filtering. You cannot use RPM filtering with it. So we're on the BMI 270 here as well. And yeah, PID sum is cranked all the way up as well. All right, back to the Acrobee after having flown the Hummingbird just now. Let's see how it is. See if I can tell the difference. I'm gonna have to change modules in my transmitter. Okay, here we go. All right, I think this is gonna be the last battery that we fly, because the battery in my transmitter is dead, and I don't think I have another one charged. Acrobee. Wow, what? There is some weird like jerkiness just now. I can't tell the difference. No, I guess it does feel a little bit heavier. Which, like, weirdly makes me fly it a little bit softer, a little bit smoother. Okay, that fucking stand came out of nowhere. Oh, good, yeah. Look, these gates. The empty hole in the gate is 7,000 times as big as the skinny little outside part of the gate. How the fuck is it that, like, 8,000 times more often I hit the goddamn gate instead of just going through the fucking hole in it? Like, what the hell, man? Why isn't flying easier? Okay! Come on now. Okay! That was nice. I like those big, laid out. There we go. That's better. Couldn't get it going backwards. Oh, come on now. Okay, there it is. Some nights I have it. Most nights I don't. Oh god, I'm inside the fucking... gross. Please. Let me fly some more. There it is! It's all death all the time! Ah! Please. Impossible power loop! Oh! Oh no. I think it threw a prop. Yeah, it threw the left front prop. Man, I'm running out of propellers. I'm not finding them often enough. Oh, I found one! Oh, I found another one! Oh! Damn! A twofer. Tommy Toofa. Yeah, I can't tell a difference. I wish that I could, but I can't. Freestyle is such a thing, you know. Like with racing, they've got a clock. There's like actual numbers. With freestyle, man, it's so subjective. Like you got to find a combination of parts that works for you. It's the right durability. And then just stick with it and just fly the same thing as much as you possibly can. This transmitter battery is at 5.4 volts and it's 2S. That is not good. I have to get it unplugged absolutely right now. Okay. I think I might have just destroyed another one of these outline batteries. That sucks. Man, that tanked in a absolute hurry. I can't tell the difference. The Hummingbird is a lot less expensive. So for indoor stuff, it's the Hummingbird. Cole Power says, what's your max roll rate? It's 700. Yeah, so for your indoor stuff, it's the Hummingbird. 25 milliwatt is plenty. It's lighter weight, which is going to make a huge difference in terms of, you know, like building it lighter. All right, I just had to get that on the charger like right away to pull that battery voltage back up. Yeah, like the fact that I can't tell the difference doesn't really matter. When the rig is lighter, it's going to carry less momentum. And so it's going to slide sideways into stuff less often. And that's going to make you fly better. Like, period. There's no, like, you, like, the argument that weight doesn't matter, it's not an argument. That is people who don't want to build lighter trying to justify it with absolute and utter nonsense. Like, it's just... Yeah, heavier is harder to fly, period. It's more momentum, and you have to deal with that extra momentum. Does it allow you to have more off throttle throw? Sure, but does that make the rig easier to fly? Fuck no. That has nothing to do with how easy or not easy it is to fly. So yeah, the whole like weight doesn't matter thing has always and will always be dumb. And you can ask anybody, like, you know, FPV pilots are not like typically into aeronautics. If you ask anybody that's into aeronautics about weight, they will tell you that shaving weight is like the most important thing that you can do. And they're right. So yeah, listen to those people, not skateboarder Billy down the street that thinks FPV is cool. Because it's like skateboarding, you know? So yeah, if you're gonna build a rig for indoor use, it's in my opinion gonna be the Hummingbird. Durability seems to be fine, and it's lighter, and you can use RPM filtering, which is pretty awesome. The Acrobee board though is gonna get some 75mm love, and it's gonna get bounced around some jungle gyms, and that'll be pretty cool. We'll be able to compare like a Mobula 7 1S to an Acrobee. Christ, we could even like technically compare, like we could do like range testing. Oh, I forgot to fly the two of them upstairs to see how the VTXs compare. I've tested quite a bit in the house though. 25 milliwatts is plenty. Going beyond 25 milliwatts just creates extra bounces and extra multipathing. So yeah, if you're flying inside, 25 milliwatts is the way to go. Let's get caught up on the chat and then we will shut this mother down. Bad for Life says, you gave Quicksilver a chance yet? Love how it feels. I tried Quicksilver forever ago, and there was no, I mean, there is no difference in, there just is no difference. It's just a PID controller. Like all of the flight firmwares are just PID controllers. Like PID controllers are not FPV related at all. They're in they're used in manufacturing. They're just a bunch of calculations. So this whole, like, you know, KISS feels better, or silver fish wire Quicksilver feels better, it's kind of nonsense. What might feel different, there is no better, right? There's just different. What might feel different between Quicksilver, Betaflight, KISS is the way that the rates are calculated. But the filtering and the PIDs have nothing to do with it. And in honesty, not even in honesty, the math, like the actual facts, are that Betaflight's filtering is hands down the best and the lowest latency. So with Betaflight, you will always get lower latency. And if you really want to talk about like which one feels better, lower latency is always going to feel better, right? If you want to go down that insane feel rabbit hole. But don't do that. The whole feel thing has been shown to be total nonsense. Like there is no feel. There's just latency, and there's the way that the rates are calculated. So maybe on Quicksilver, the way that the rates are calculated connects better with your brain. You could accomplish the same thing in Betaflight. See, here's the thing. Betaflight is better than everything else, period. That's just a fact. That has been proven over and over and over and over and over again. Because of the fact that it's better, you can make it worse to make it feel like KISS or Quicksilver or Emuflight or whatever. So, in my opinion, run Betaflight and then spend your time dialing Betaflight in to be perfect for you. Going over to different flight firmwares is going to limit you, and it's going to just take options away from you. And that's, you know, you're doing yourself a disservice there. Like, don't do that. Like, run the best flight firmware that performs the best and has had like tens of thousands of extra hours of development versus everything else out there probably combined. Um, and then yeah, you're gonna benefit quite a bit. Um, there's nothing magic about any of the flight firmwares. If anything, there's way more magic in Betaflight because of all of the work that's gone in with so many different devs around the world over the last decade or so with Betaflight. And you get things like anti-gravity and um, there's just so many things in Betaflight that these other firmwares don't have. And if you don't want to use, and so again, you can just turn all the good stuff off. If you just turn all of this really nice stuff that Betaflight has added in off, then you've got KISS, you've got Quicksilver, you've got Emuflight. Emuflight less so. The Emuflight devs have done some pretty cool stuff. But I actually haven't heard anything from Emuflight for a while. So I don't know if they've kind of given up like pretty much everybody has. You know, like we've had a bunch of different flight firmwares over the year. And none of them have survived other than KISS and Betaflight. And really the only reason that KISS has survived is that the most popular FPV pilot flies it. So there's just a constant want to fly what he flies, under the thinking, myself included, at a few years ago, that it'll make you a better pilot. But in reality, it's actually quite the opposite. So yeah. All that being said, if for whatever reason Quicksilver, like you fly better on Quicksilver, maybe stick with it. But in fairness, if you put a little bit more effort into Betaflight, you can get it to perform better and to fly better for you than Quicksilver, just because it's better. It's just a better platform. It's had more time spent on it, and it just performs better. So yeah, it's tough. I on one hand, like, I do kind of wish there was some magical flight firmware that I could flash onto my stuff that would make me fly better. But that's just unrealistic. That it just doesn't work like that. And the sooner that like you kind of wrap your head around that and get over that, the better, because yeah, there's just lower latency has a better chance of making you a better pilot than anything else. Like if you want to pinpoint one thing that could actually make you better on the sticks, it's lower latency. And that's what Betaflight does. And that's been proven with actual black box logs time and time again. So yeah, it's tough. Skirty Curtis says, so since I have to retire the QAV-S, what do you think of the Apex Evo? The Apex frame is good for heavy builds because they use 5.5 millimeter thick arms. For lighter weight builds, those arms are too thick, and it's going to put all of the crash energy into your motors, so you're going to blow tons of motors up. Other than that, the Apex frame is fine. It's very expensive. There are frames that are just as good for less than half as much money, in my opinion, and in my experience. Doesn't take anything away from it, right? Like, if flying the same frame that Steel flies makes you more confident on the sticks, it might have been worth the double price for that build. It is the thing that I like the least about the Apex frame is it's not really all that configurable. It's pretty much like a couple of different sets of electronics will fit in it, and that's it. And there's really no, like, you can't change the deck height. It's really tight. Like, there's a lot in there that, in my opinion, doesn't necessarily need to be in there. It's, just like the guy whose frame it is designed for one specific exact setup, and it is awesome for that exact setup. Unfortunately, that exact setup gets stomped by Betaflight in terms of performance. There are Betaflight stacks that you can put in there that will work, but it's just, I don't know. There's just the way that it's set up to use an SMA antenna, and it's got like a weird, like the third set of standoffs are just weird, and they've got this big piece of metal in there that it's just less configurable. It's just a less configurable frame than many of the other ones, and that drives me crazy. Like I want to build a frame the way that I want it to be, not the way that some other guy wants it to be, right? That's just me. If you know, Steel's setup is great, and it works really, really well, but I prefer frames that are a little bit more open-ended, a little bit more not open-ended, a little bit more open source, let's say. But again, that's just me. Apache Smoke says, "What's up? What's up, homie? Everybody give Apache Smoke a wonderful pat on the back for the timestamps that make these live streams so much easier to watch if you're watching them on repeat." Adam Weston says, Emuflight has been slow lately. They're considering baselining back to Betaflight 4.4 and adding the Kulmann filters back in. Interesting. Boondock, the reason why Emuflight is so good is because it's based off of Betaflight, to be really honest. Boondock Striker says, my Walksnail works fine until I arm my quad, then it goes black. Do you lose just video, or do you lose the video and you still have the OSD, or do you lose everything? It is tough to troubleshoot that stuff. I mean, the troubleshoot is going to be, man, that's tough. When you arm it, all of a sudden the quad becomes a death machine. So you can't really like be in there. It's going to be, all right, so take the props off and put a multimeter on the pads that are feeding the VTX with voltage, arm it and see what happens to that voltage. If that voltage drops down really low, then power it from different pads. If you're powering it from a 9-volt BEC, for example, on the flight controller, and that if that 9-volt BEC is dying, you'll see it in the multimeter. And then you can power it like from VBAT off of the ESC pads, for example, and you might be okay. Other than that, there's not a whole hell of a lot you can do. Like it's either the VTX or the camera that are shitting the bed. Eventually, you're going to break the VTX and or the camera, so you're going to have to buy a backup at some point anyway. So, you know, to troubleshoot this problem, you're probably going to have to buy that backup. Boondock Striker says it's 1S. Has it ever worked? And he says he loses everything. Yeah, there's not a whole hell of a lot that you can troubleshoot on it. When you arm it, the AIO puts power elsewhere. Where is it powered from? Is it powered off of the... If it's powered off of the flight controller's 5-volt, get it off of there. Put it onto the battery leads and power it off the battery leads. If it's powered off the battery leads, the VTX is blown up. There's just no... Like... Yeah, it just is. Like when you arm it, it doesn't hit the battery any harder. I mean, I guess it does a little bit, but yeah, if it's not powered off the battery leads, if that doesn't fix it, the VTX is blown up and you got to get another one. It sucks, but I can't possibly imagine that it's the camera doing that. Anything's possible, but I really doubt that it's the camera. So it's probably the VTX. And yeah, you're going to need to replace that VTX someday anyway, so maybe that day's today. It's wired off the buzzer? Get it the hell off of there. Why would they do that? That's weird. Yeah, get it off of there. You want it on the battery pads. You want to send full voltage to the VTX, and then let the VTX's 5-volt back or 3.3-volt back, whatever it has, take that full voltage and cook it down to whatever the voltage that it wants. So yeah, do that, and maybe you'll be okay. Denzel the Turbo says, but the Apex comes with poo brown TPU. That's cool. Skirty Curtis says, couldn't really care less what steel flies, just felt like a really tried and true frame. It is for heavy quads. It's a great frame. Super expensive, and it's not very configurable, but it's a great frame. If the components that you want to fly fit in that frame properly, and you don't like tinkering and like really customizing stuff, that could be and you're gonna do a heavy build, that could be the frame for you. If you're gonna do a sub 700 gram all up weight build, it's not the frame for you. You're gonna go through so many motors because the arms are too strong. You want something like the Glide or the QAV-S, or there's a Quad Mula F5 frame that looks really nice. Yeah, a lot of different frames. Scott FPV says, would you put an ELRS RP2 receiver on a Ripsqueak? Would it have enough range to, say, fly around a fairly big park? I'm not sure what's the RP2? Is the RP2 something different? ELRS range is arguably better than anything that we've ever had before. So the RP2 has the little ceramic antenna on it, so that is going to limit your range a little bit. I would definitely get the RP1 instead and run a proper antenna like this. All that being said, you could probably get away with it with this. The problem with this is not the antenna, it's that the antenna is going to be inside of a carbon fiber cage. Unless you mount the receiver on the outside of the quad, which is a terrible idea because then you're just going to break the receiver. So yeah, having an antenna inside of a carbon fiber cage inside of the quad is the worst thing you can do for an antenna. So you could technically do it. You'll get some range, more than you would think, but if possible, spend an extra $20 and get the RP1 so that you can put a proper T antenna out the back away from the carbon fiber a little bit, and you'll get infinitely better range with that. Save that little ceramic antenna bastard for like a tiny whoop or something like that. Tiny wop, you know. Professor Biohazard says, wait, isn't CiottiFPV too old to be up past 9 p.m.? Nope, I'm just old enough. Lately, I consider myself lucky if I've gone to sleep before 9 a.m. at this point. Cole Power says, if the OSD stays when it blacks out, consider a damaged cable between the camera and the VTX, correct? Or the camera itself could just be shit in the bed. Chomper FPV's in the house. What's up, homie? How you been? Boondock Striker says, okay, I'll try it. I did change the firmware. Might try to flash it back to see if that's the problem. Well, all right, so Boondock, if you need to think back to when the problem started. Whenever that problem started, that's what did it. So if you change the firmware and then it started doing this, the firmware is the issue. I wouldn't think that the firmware would be the issue, but yeah, if you've changed stuff, you got to really rack your brain to think back and try to figure out when the issue started, because that will put you right on top of what caused it. Chomper saying, hey, Skirty Curtis says, do you have any personal experience with the Armattan frames? I do, quite a bit. They suck. Stay as far away as possible from Armattan frames. They are poorly designed. They are old. They have no place in FPV in 2023. I haven't seen an updated Armattan frame in at least 3 or 4 years. And even back then, they were some of the worst frames available. So stay the hell away from their frames. They're just old designs, and we have moved so far past their frame designs. The worst part, hands down, the worst part about the Armattan frames is that the designer of the frames, Chris, refuses to believe that the directionality of the carbon fiber matters, and he has the carbon fiber 45 degrees in the wrong direction on all of his frames, and it just makes the frames perform horrible from a vibration perspective and from a durability standpoint. So you have a frame that flies like shit and crashes like shit. We want either or. We want either it to fly good or it to crash really good. And nowadays with frames, you can actually get both of those things. So yeah, stay away from Armattan frames. Morton Upshot says, my Mobula 7 Walksnail came from the factory with the VTX powered from the Buzzer Plus. Man, is that weird. I thought that was odd since there was a 5-volt right next to the UART. That is really weird. Why the hell are they doing that? I guess maybe they're doing that to free up the 5-volt pad for you to add something else. What the hell are you going to add, though? That's weird. Security Curtis says, glad I asked. Boondock Striker, with the last comment of the live stream, he says, I got it back from Pad Battle, and they said it was working. I saw a video from them. Then I flashed it to match my goggles, and it never worked for me. Definitely flash it back to whatever the hell they have. That's weird. That's really weird. But yeah, start flashing different firmware versions. Luckily, it's pretty easy to flash Walksnail firmware. So yeah, try it. Ooh, that's really, really, really weird. Really weird. Thanks for hanging, my friends. CiottiFPV.com if you like these live streams and would like to see them continue. I'm completely supported by you beautiful people. Help a brother out. Join my Patreon. Buy yourself something nice from Etsy. Schedule a one-on-one session with me to learn a lot through Fiverr. Get yourself a shirt and wear it at your local park so the other pilots are like, who's this CiottiFPV dick? And you can tell them he's gangly. And yes, he is a jerk. And we'll keep hanging together 4 times a week. Newbie drone Acrobee for an outdoor 75mm bando basher, I think. Hummingbird for a 65mm indoor rig. I think that's what the general consensus is from me on these 2 AIOs. Yeah. Time will tell, though. I'm going to keep flying this Hummingbird AIO to make sure it's really durable. Although I'm probably 15 to 20 batteries in of really hard bashing, and it's been fine. So that's a really good thing. Here's a little bit more from the Atlanta Autos gig from last weekend. Be good, my friends. I'll see you on Wednesday. Thanks for sticking with me. I know I was a little bit low energy tonight, but I'm running on like no sleep. And my brain is just kind of being a jerk. Be good, friends. CiottiFPV.com for all the things. Love you.